So what we've started with is a universal law of healing. Now, the reason why we're calling this particular law of healing universal is because this applies everywhere in the universe. And hopefully this will make sense to you once I've explained the diagram. But you know, there's what's going on this planet. There's a journey of life and an evolution of life on this planet, and certain things will apply on this planet. But who knows what other systems exist out there in the universe, of course. But there are some fundamental principles that are going to be the same everywhere. So what we've done with the universal law of healing is that we've generalized healing into a simplified law of healing. Now, this will seem a little bit abstract to start with, but hopefully by the end of the lesson and when we go through the diagram, it will make sense. So first of all, separation. Separation leads to suffering. Now, to have suffering, which you could call negative emotions in humans, negative emotions, to have negative emotions, you must have positive. So there must be a split, or what we call a duality, to be able to have a negative part. So separation is what causes suffering. But also the universe goes on a journey of separation. It loses itself in that separation, and it suffers because of it. And it suffers because it is ignorant of itself, or of its own true nature, which we'll talk about more in a second. So the antidote to suffering is, first of all, balancing the two sides of the duality, which leads to surrender. Now, surrender is an interesting concept, but this needs to happen through the journey of healing. And what surrender actually is, if you take it down to its fundamentals, is that through this separation, it creates a universe of form, a universe of separated form, even down to different types of energy, positive and negative energy, or electrical charge. It creates separation, and through the journey of life evolves in a separated way. And in humans, this culminates in what we call the egoic identity, the little self, a sense of individuality that we have. That is actually an illusion, because ultimately the universe is unified, it's one. But it creates separation, which creates suffering and individuality, and we suffer because we are individuals. So therefore, after balancing of the two sides of duality, we have to surrender our individuality. The egoic identity, or the little self, or the false identity, or the mask identity, whatever you want to call it, it has to surrender its own existence, because only after it does that will it find unity and then peace. So that little journey there, balance, surrender, unity and peace, that is the journey of healing. And it is also the journey of self-realization. The journey of self-realization of the source of the universe. So the universe creates separation and loses itself, goes on a journey of separation and individuality. The one becomes the many. And then at some point it finds balance, it finds surrender, or it goes through a journey of surrendering that individuality, and it finds that it was unified all along. It was a unity, it was one. So the veil of illusion is lifted, you could say. And in doing so, it finds peace and self-realization. We'll talk about that more in a second. And that is the journey of healing. So this will apply everywhere in the universe. You know, the journey of life may be very different in different parts of the universe, but this law of healing should be the same everywhere. Now, please do jump in if you've got any questions or comments or anything to say.